I came into this thinking I was going to find my purpose as far as like business and how I can make money, but P2P was so much more than that. The healing and the forgiveness of other people and myself.
You're listening to the Redefining Wealth podcast with Patrice Washington. This community believes in the mantra chase purpose, not money. And I have been saying that so much that I have actually convinced tens of thousands of people around the globe to get into this idea that wealth is so much more than just money and material possessions. We believe in the original 12th century definition of wealth, which says it's about the condition of well being. And I believe that you are most well when you are operating from your gifts and literally walking in purpose. Now, here's the thing, because I know you're like, why is she here on a Monday? You ask great questions. The thing is that I've said chase purpose, not money, since 2017 for the most part. And in 2019, it dawned on me that I was talking about chase purpose, not money, but many of you did not know how to actually walk that out in your life. So I was really on this crusade to get people to embrace their purpose, but then they didn't know how to use it in the marketplace so they wouldn't have to chase money. And that brought me to creating and launching one of the most amazing communities out there. It's called Purpose to Platform, and it is the 12-week business incubator that I lead each year. And this week, I wanted to talk about it more. As you know, we are in the middle of the Creative for Purpose Challenge. If you haven't signed up yet, you definitely need to go to thepurposechallenge.com. But I wanted you to see examples of women from all over the country, but really we have women all over the world from different backgrounds who are walking this thing out in their daily lives. And each and every day this week, you're going to hear a different story. And I really pray that these stories will resonate with who you are and where you are in your life so that you can see that this is not just some cute thing I say on the podcast. This is how so many people who identify as purpose chasers live their lives. So up first is Chebria Bryant. And I want you to listen to how she talks about not just her community, the Unapologetic Woman, but how she has become more bold and more fearless, but really even pushing through the fear and meeting some of the challenges that I gave her in P2P and what that journey has looked like. So without further ado, here is Chebria Bryant. Welcome to the Redefining Wealth podcast, Chebria.
I'm so happy to be here. This is literally a full circle moment.
It is? Okay,
Yes.
why is it a full circle moment?
So back in August, I literally was cleaning my house, listening to your podcast, and it happened to be the week that you were also featuring people from the last class of P2P. And that was the first time I even heard of P2P. I have been following you for a while, like even before that, but I, never heard of Purpose to Platform. And
Wow.
I'm just realizing like everything was perfectly orchestrated, like so because like literally like probably a month before that, I had that nudge in my spirit that you always talk about. And Mike Ty always likes to call it like an anointed agitation or a holy
Mm,
discontent.
yes.
And so I had that and I was, I felt like I was being called to do more, but I just wasn't sure what. I was perfectly comfortable. Like, I had no complaints about my life whatsoever, but
Mhm.
I just woke up and like, this is not it. Like, I know there is something more for me out there. So I started praying. I took this whole social media fast in July. So then August comes and I get your email about committed to the call.
Yeah.
And I've been on your email list a while, but I feel like I was missing other emails. I'm not even sure what, but that email popped up in my face. I read it. I read what Committed to the Call was about, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this. So it's probably the Friday before the challenge started, that Monday. And so I started listening to the podcast. And like I said, it was people that had already went through Purpose the Platform prior to that. So I hear all their stories, and I felt seen, I felt heard, I felt understood. And I'm like, this is it. So again, Purpose to the Platform was new to me, and you hadn't even announced that seats were going to be opening that month. So I go and pray to God, like, this just sounds like I need this. This is exactly what I'm going through right now. Listening to the ladies and what they were saying, like I said, I felt seen. So I was praying about it. I didn't know when you were going to open seats, but I asked God, if it's meant for me to have a seat in this coaching program. I've never even invested in myself in such a way. Like, I've been to college, but financial aid pay for that. So
where you literally had to make the decision to
yes,
invest in yourself.
yes. And so, okay, Committed to the Call start. And I remember, again, praying about, like, Purpose to Platform. Like, I'm like, I need more than just this free challenge. And then I get the email. I joined the wait list for Purpose to Platform. And then I get the email saying that seats were opening up like that Wednesday. So I'm in the Nelson line. And then, so I know they were opening up, I believe, like 2 p.m. So it was like 3 o'clock. And I'm like, oh, shoot, like, they opened up. So let me go check. I go check and I see the price. And I'm like, so I'm like, okay, I'm not going to exit out just now. And it's not like I didn't have the money, but I'm just a person that likes to plan. Like, I don't, I'm the saver. I want to be, I like to have control over stuff. So, went back to praying about it. And then I kind of written it off. Like, I like, what? I'm going to just save again. I'm going to save to be part of the next one. And so, I left it alone for a while. Well, probably a couple days. Then I get the email about having a call with the enrollment coach, with you or an enrollment coach. And I'm like, okay, well, I've already started saving for it. So I'm like, okay, well, let me just make sure it's really for me. And talk to somebody. I want to make sure that I'm, what I'm saving for is worth it. So I talked to Megan De La Concha.
Yeah. Who was also a P2P graduate.
Yes. And I don't know, that call just literally, like, something inside of me sparked. Like, it's something that I couldn't ignore. And she told me, I remember she was like, at that time when she decided to sign up for P2P, she had like maybe like $50 in her bank account, like $89 in her savings. And I'm thinking, so I'm like, well, I have more than that. Like, I have more than that to get started. So I'm like, all right, but all right, I'm gonna go pray. And she said that she was going to pray for me too. And you know how people usually tell you, I'm gonna pray for you, but they lying. Like, this. So, but I actually felt something inside of me, like, she really going to go pray for me. And it was like kind of a insight to what the community was going to be like for me. Yeah. So I felt that, like, even though, like, me, this is the first time I've talked to her, and I'm just like, I felt that genuine excitement, talking to her. And I'm like, so if that's just one person that's part of that community, like, I can just imagine what the rest of the women are like.
Yeah.
And so I asked God, like, literally when we got off the call, I need a clear sign. Like, if you want me to do this, I'm going to do it. And something told me, okay, because ever since, COVID, we've all been forced to work from home. And right now I live on the outskirts of Philadelphia, but I've been paying Philly taxes, even though I don't live there. So I've been fighting for a refund since April of last year. And it kept getting denied because for different reasons. But I put it in like for a third time. And I called because usually like the first 2 times I got an email saying that they got it, but this third time I didn't get an email. So I just called just to check to see if they got it. And the lady's like, "Oh, it's been approved. This should be on its way to you."
So you saw that as the confirmation.
Yes, because I'm like, that's $2,000 right there on its way to me. And it just made me think, I was like, God was delaying that refund because I needed that sign that day to join.
Wow.
And it was like the first time I've even allowed God, like fully surrendered to him. Like, you know what? I'm gonna let you have it. Like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna go ahead and join it. And I've never looked back. I'm
Oh
so
my
appreciative
gosh.
that I did that.
Well, okay. So I love the story of how you get there, of how you got to purpose the platform, because I think you're right. And I always joke about this. I'm always like, God will put things right in front of you, and we'll be like, but
Mhm.
God, is it that? Send me a
Right.
sign, send me a rainbow with 3 pigeons that form a heart shape. Like, right, like we have all these things that we are always looking for.
Mhm.
But I still really want to honor you because you were taking decisive steps, right? It
Right.
was like, okay, well, I'm going to join the challenge. This year, it's the Creative for Purpose Challenge.
Mhm.
And, I think even people coming into the challenge, it's not by happenstance, it's not coincidental. I truly
Mm-mm.
believe that the challenge itself has so much juice in it and will
Yes.
encourage you and support you and push you right into
Right.
purpose and your next level. But then when you said, okay, I signed up for the wait list. Okay. I got the email. I actually read the email. Okay. I signed up for the enrollment specialist call because a lot of people are scared to get on the call because they think it's going to be some high pressure thing.
Right. And it
Right.
wasn't that. It
Mm-mm.
wasn't that.
And the intention of it is not that. Even when
Mm-mm.
I train, the ladies that help me out with the enrollments, I tell them up front, we're not high pressure salespeople. We are literally there to support people in making the best decision for them. And if
Yep.
you feel that this is not going to be an absolute blessing to whoever you're talking to and is not going to be something that gets them to their next level, it is okay to tell them we are not for you.
Yes.
And they know that, and that's the heart and the spirit that they carry um, through those calls. And I'm always so happy to hear that people felt supported in making the best choice for them, whether it was to come to purpose the platform or not.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for you, it was a good choice.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Okay, so I remember different breakthroughs that happened for you throughout Purpose to Platform. But so you come into the community, and what is your first take? Like, what's the first feeling you remember having when you entered Purpose to Platform?
Like I said, it was the first time I surrendered to God. And one, I remember being that whole month when I was trying to figure out, like praying, like, what is my purpose? I remember I have friends here, like I have a sisterhood, like I have people, of course, I can turn to, but I felt kind of alone, like because I just wasn't excited about the things that I used to be excited. Like everybody was going through their own things in life. So I remember first joining the community and then everybody's like posting, I'm watching the videos when we had to do introductories.
Mm-hmm.
And one, I'm seeing everybody talking about I almost let money stop me.
Mm.
And that was my reason. I almost let a dollar sign stop me from walking into my calling and walking into the thing, like I said, that God clearly perfectly orchestrated for me.
Mm.
As I said, this is a full circle moment for me. I'm surprised I'm sitting here now, hoping that a woman listens to this one day and makes the same decision that I've made, because it's going to be the best decision of your life. I'm telling you. But I remember just walking into that community, and even though it was all virtual,
Mm-hmm.
but I've never felt as supported as I did ever in my life. And that I feel that when like these women are genuinely rooting for me. And I remember just thinking to myself, like, how am I even building all these relationships, these people that I've never even laid eyes on outside of Zoom, like in Facebook. Like, I honestly, because
Yeah.
like up until then, I've always made relationships in person, like, from a job, from school, from
Mm-hmm.
wherever, but I can see these people in person and outside. Like, I've actually built genuine connections with people
Mm-hmm.
through a computer.
All over the world.
All over. And that was another, I'm like, in Ghana, in Jamaica, I have sisters that people that know me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just even that, like, that's just something to brag about.
Yeah, it is. And for you too, I know that the brag binder, that whole exercise has been helpful. Um
Mhm.
just talk a little bit about how your confidence has increased in terms of knowing what you are purposed to do.
So I remember that week that we had that exercise. That was the first week they made me cry on. It was Coach Brittany call. And I was having a hard time even building the brag binder. Even though, like, I have a lot to brag about, but why is it so hard to talk about me?
Mm-hmm.
And that's because I had this false sense of humility. And through P2P, I've learned to release that. I've learned to, for me, humility is me being able to surrender to God
Mm-hmm.
and to be able to let him use me. But that doesn't mean that I can't talk about myself and shine the good deeds he did throughout my life, because we are people's biggest inspirations.
Yes.
So if people see that what he's done through me, even with the past I had, and even me, I fall short still every day, but he still wants to use me, then he
Mm-hmm.
can do the same for them. And I don't, that exercise, being able to go find what people said about me. And because I mean, I've got degrees, like I've graduated, got my master's last year, but that wasn't even the biggest thing I found to brag about. I remember going through Instagram and just going through like old birthday posts and the things people had to say about me. I used to take those lightly. But to see that this has, what I do now has always been part of my calling. I'm over
Ooh,
here about to cry. You always
that's
do this to
it.
me, Patrice. Like,
But girl, that's it though. It's the very things that we dismiss and we just diminish their value all along are the very things that God is literally like, this is you. This is your thing. This is who I created you to be. This is why
yes.
it's the Created for Purpose challenge. Like, you were already created to do this. These things come naturally. People are already seeing your light, but you're sitting around here dimming your light and
Mm-hmm.
dumbing it down and playing yourself short. But people already can see the greatness. It's us. Like, we have to be able to see it. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what I love about our community is sometimes even when we're struggling. First of all, me and the coaches, we don't play. So we
No.
so Coach Brittany, you
Mhm.
big business, right? Like,
Yes.
we're so big on seeing sometimes in you what you don't see in yourself, or we're going to
Mm-hmm.
hold space. And I tell you guys this, welcome orientation, when you come in, we're not committed to your limiting beliefs and all the other
Mm-hmm.
stuff. We're not committed to that. We're committed to the versions of you that we know you can be by the
Mm-hmm.
time you graduate from P2P. What's up, OG listeners and purpose chasers? Guess what time it is? It is purpose challenge time. Every year I like to, really take this chase purpose, not money, to the next level by teaching you live in real time for 5 nights all of the things that have helped me evolve and go from literally scraping up change to embracing my purpose and building a thriving platform. And I'm going to teach you because I want you to chase purpose, not money. Right now, go to thepurposechallenge.com and get signed up. We begin on Sunday, March 27th, and it is going to be incredible. Everyone who's been through a challenge, I'm telling you, literally their minds are blown because of how much is really given and how supportive the community is. This is about chains breaking. This is about you getting clarity. This is about you being empowered to take your next best step so that you can literally chase purpose, not money. So join me starting March 27th at 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm also going to be doing tons of giveaways, and the only way that you can enter for the giveaway is to be registered for the challenge. And trust me, engagement pays, so you want to come on over. Come to thepurposechallenge.com. I can't wait to serve you. I am so excited, and I hope that you're excited too, to finally embrace your purpose and take it to the next level. I'll see you there. 12 weeks might sound long to some people, I don't know, but it flies by.
It flew.
It flew by, right? And but who you can become in the process.
Oh my God, yes. I was just by November 12th, I looked in the mirror and I didn't recognize this girl. Like this woman, I can,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, who am I? Like who I was never the person. I'm like, I had a social media, I'll post my pictures, but here I am, like I've always been pretty vulnerable, but with people that I know, that
Mm-hmm.
I've built a relationship with. And breaking down those guards, and I came into this thinking I was going to find my purpose as far as like business and how I can make money, but P2P was so much more than that. The healing and the forgiveness of other people and myself.
You got to talk about the
Yeah.
breakthrough you had. So we had a master mentor session with one of my good girlfriends, Brooke Thomas, and there was a big breakthrough for you during that session. Can you just give us the high level to that, because I think you had us all crying and carrying on. I don't remember if that was a Friday or a Monday or what day it
It
was,
was a
but we were
Monday. It was Master
we was
Mentor Monday.
crying on this call. Okay, so when you talk about having forgiveness for others and healing some things through your process in P2P, can you give a little backstory about that master mentor session?
Okay, so this was last year, 2021. And so, it was after the year 2020. That was a hard year for everybody, especially Black people. The things that we witnessed. And even just growing up Black, and going through my own experiences of racism and things. I never realized how much of a guard I built up until that Monday. We're talking to Brooke, and Brooke is talking about all the things she's been through, like her having a hard pregnancy. And I'm just seeing how many shared experiences we have. And before before I even came up with the Unapologetic Woman, I thought I was going to have a community only towards Black women. And so Brooke is talking, and she's also talking, obviously she was a woman of faith, and she's talking about the spirit, and she's talking about like not seeing color in the spirit. Like, of course, you can't look at me and, ignore my Blackness. But when you are one of God's children, you can't say, oh, I don't love her because she's white. I'm not going to ignore her because she's white or whatever color you are. And so I'm listening to her talk, and I see, I feel like something releases off of me, like something. I'm letting my guard down, and I'm just like, one, I need to open my space up to more than just Black women.
Mm-hmm.
And it was my own limiting belief and my own guards I had up, and the lack of healing and forgiveness for white people, that I wasn't able to first start out to extend that space to them. So when I talked to Brooke, and I'm just like, I truly see your spirit. I truly feel like we are sisters. We are bonded by our shared experiences, because I had a hard pregnancy
Mm-hmm.
as well. And it just made me, like, again, I'm about to cry.
It was a beautiful moment, Chebria.
Yes.
It's something, it was one of those P2P moments. And trust me, you know how it goes on our coaching calls. And you know that they're full of moments. Like there's
Yes.
so many really profound and deep moments that we have throughout the whole 12 weeks. And I've done this 5 times. So,
Mhm.
I have so many moments, 60 weeks of moments with people.
Right.
But, 60 weeks of moments with people. 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 But, that was one of those moments because for me, I've always wanted to create a community that was inclusive.
Right.
And when I first started, I felt very much like I would have a lot of non-black listeners and followers, and because I speak, in very diverse on very diverse stages and platforms, I have a lot of people who are endeared to me. But Brooke and I had talked about this before. I said, but Brooke, I don't feel like non-black people want to invest in working with me. I think they still somehow see it as a black community because
Mm.
I'm black. But we're expected to sign up and be a part of other communities
Right.
when the host or the person, the expert, the guru, whoever is white.
Right.
They're supposed to attract everybody, and black people are supposed to just attract black
Attract
people.
black people.
And
Yep.
Brooke and I had that conversation like a couple years ago. And after we had that conversation and I acknowledged it, I had to pray and ask, like, was I creating an environment, or was I creating this idea that that's all I wanted to serve? Yes, I have a special place in my heart for black people because I'm a black woman and I've only been a black woman my whole life
Right.
and I understand the experience. But redefining wealth and what we do at Purpose to Platform or Command the Stage or anything that I touch is bigger than race. It's
Right.
bigger than religion for me,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's still very much for women in particular because I really love the safe space and the vulnerability that can happen when women feel safe. So it's still in this stage for me very much women centric, but I knew that I had to dig through and see if there was anything in me that was preventing other people from understanding that I was their person, no matter what color they were.
Right.
And even in your group of Purpose to Platform, it was a diverse group, right?
Yes.
Even with like, no, it's not just regulated to the US or
Right.
we have our white, our Asian, our Hispanic
Mm-hmm.
sisters from all over the
Right.
country, like I'm sorry, from all over the world. But I thought that moment you allowed me to articulate that I struggled with that same thing, and that for you too, the unapologetic woman, that message transcends race.
Outside. And I feel like it was one of the enemy's tactics because
Yeah.
I can't call myself one of God's daughters and not love people because of what their race is.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that I had to be the example of love that I want back, regardless of what people's races are. And if I'm going to say I'm a person or a woman of massive impact, again, that transcends race. And I put a video up about this because I actually had um an experience where I worked at a hotel a couple years ago and a woman killed herself, a white woman killed herself, and I was one of the people that found her body. And I never figured out why, but I know that she was going through a divorce. And then
Mm.
a couple years later, I'm going through my own experience of not really being able to know who I was. I lost myself in motherhood. I lost myself in my relationship. I was going through a separation in my own after having a kid, going through postpartum depression. And I know she was going through a divorce at the time when she killed herself.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, God reminded me of that experience again. And I'm just like, I would hate to have the tools because I was actually gratefully one of the people that God kept and pushed me through that. And I overcame all those feelings because I know I had those same feelings like I don't want to be here anymore.
Mm.
And um I would hate to have the tools and then a white woman doesn't feel comfortable coming to me because I have this whole brand called the Unapologetic Black Woman, and she doesn't feel comfortable coming to me because I still have these blinders on.
Mm.
And now I'm like, I want to help everybody, every woman that
Yeah.
resonates with me,
Yeah,
regardless
because
of who you are.
that hurt and pain is not regulated to race.
Right.
The hurt and pain of separation, betrayal, you like any of the things. I mean, and your significant other could have passed, or any of
Mm-hmm.
the hurt that comes just with transition. As we wear and navigate life with these different labels, you're so right. It would be a shame to have the tools and then have someone feel blocked. you kind of making me feel some way about working with men. I'm like, man, I have the tools, right? Um, but it would be ashamed for it to be blocked just because of that. And that master mentor session will forever be like one of those things that I always remember about,
Mm,
about this whole journey, because it was beautiful, and the comments and the way just everyone in the community was united, but you were unapologetic about sharing. It was
yes,
teary, it was weepy, it was all those things, but because you shared, I think something broke free for a lot of us
yes,
that day. And that's what I love, is that we create a space where you can have those moments, because that harboring that unforgiveness, or that blinder, like you called it, that has a big impact on your business. And
it
many
does.
of us are impacted in our business by things that we don't even remember. So here we are trying to, like, let me focus on marketing, let me focus on social media, let me focus on tactics, and like, here it is, this is a heart thing,
Yes,
and
yes.
that's blocking you. Okay,
Mhm.
so good. Okay, I also remember that you threw an event.
Yes, it did.
Okay, so tell us, like, the event, how that came about, how was it?
So you kind of forced my hand. So it was, I remember being on that Friday call, and it's September 29th, and you like, and it was the money week. And you're like, you have a month to make $1,000. My jaw dropped on the other side of this computer. 'Cause I'm like, first of all, it's only like week 5 at this point. Like, we still got so many more weeks. I thought money was
Mhm.
going to be at the end. Like, and I always had this idea of throwing a brunch. And I thought I was going to just throw it after all this was over, after I got through P2P, and
That was
I
cute. Look at you. That was so cute.
so um okay, you say make $1,000. At first, I'm like, well, I don't know how I'm gonna make this. So literally probably an hour later, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go throw my brunch. I went, I found a place. Like 2 hours later, I had it booked. And the week that Sunday, I posted it, like, the Unapologetic Woman brunch experience is now, tickets are now live. Um, so one, of course, the brunch was for me to introduce the brand, but also to start to cultivate in that community of unapologetic women,
Mhm.
and to start having those tough conversations like we have in P2P. But my whole brand is about not pouring into everybody else's cup before yours. And in order to best love and serve other people, you have to love and serve yourself first. You
Amen.
can't, and to start to pour from the overflow of loving yourself first. And because I know in 2019 that was my problem. I had a lot of burnout, frustration, resentment, because I was too busy thinking about what everybody else, too busy trying to make this relationship work. And clearly at the time it wasn't working. It wasn't serving me.
Mhm.
And my whole point for staying in the relationship was at that time was think about my daughter, because I want her to have a two-parent household. And I'm like, I got to a point in my head of, no, my kid deserves a happy mom, regardless of who I'm with. So I need to make the tough decision to leave the relationship and heal myself and start working on myself. So that's what the Unapologetic Woman Brunch Experience is about. We created vision boards for the women we want to bloom into in 2022. But my favorite part was the conversation that we were able to have. It was just Black women. So
Mhm.
I hope to one day have all types of women.
Mhm.
But I love seeing Black women be vulnerable with each other,
Mhm.
because I feel like that's hard for us to do
Mhm.
as Black women.
Yeah, because a
Because
lot of times we're labeled as the strong one,
mhm,
so we always want to, uphold this pillar of strength for our friends, and then we compare trauma, and we're like, well, my
Mm.
stuff ain't that bad because she got this, so I'm not gonna say anything
Mhm.
about my stuff. But whenever you can create a safe space for people in general to be vulnerable, I really do believe beautiful things happen. That's what I love about our community. But okay, wait, you gotta go back to money though. So what
Oh.
happened? Did you hit the challenge? Like what?
Oh, yes, yes, yes. I was able, I came in fourth. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't the top three, but still I hit $1,000. And you'll be happy to hear. So I announced another event though, and I made $1,000 in a week this time. Over
What?
yes,
Good
yes,
for you.
yes.
So how did that feel going from, oh, I'm gonna wait until I graduate maybe to kind of sort of maybe put together something? How did it feel to just, like, I know it was scary, but put yourself out there and do it?
I mean, after I feel like after the initial scare, like wondering how I'm going to do this, I went back to that brag binder
Mm-hmm.
and I read the stuff that people said, and I'm like, well, this is something I get to just be myself. Just be
Mm-hmm.
yourself. This is why people love you. This is why you have so many women in your life that come to you for advice or, that value what you have to say. So, like, you know what? I'm just going to be myself. I'm going to be my authentic self because for the first time, I am able to do that.
Yeah.
And I get to be the woman I always envisioned. I get to be the woman that finally stops seeing herself as, oh, or stops playing a background, stops shrinking. I get to finally, and not in a way like I'm the center of attention, but I get to finally let my light shine. That the light that's always been
Mm.
implanted in me, that I always had. And then but not only that, I get to also help other women shine theirs too. So
And doesn't that feel good?
it really does. Because it's really
This,
not about the money.
yeah.
I think that the money, I mean, of course, good to make money. I'm so happy about that. And of course, I want to be paid for what I do. But it's so much bigger than that. Like, I just seen that the money is going to be added when you're in
Yeah,
alignment with who you truly are and what God wants for you. And when you allow God to align the desires of your heart with his will, the money's going to come.
absolutely. I
And
love
I
that.
absolutely like am so thankful. I'm telling you, 12 weeks. I can't believe that in 12 weeks I changed that much.
Oh my gosh. This is so good. This does my heart so good. This is why I love being able to just share these stories, whether it's on like Instagram, on a live with, some of your P2P sisters, or here on the podcast for this week. We're doing these types of stories, and it makes me feel so good to see more people that are living in alignment and living authentically, and that you have embraced this, like, I get to be myself. And that's why I tell you guys all the time, people pay me to be myself. Ain't that
Right.
something?
Right.
Ain't that about nothing? And we
Right.
we feel like we have to wear the mask and we have to put on all
Mhm.
these things, but I think the biggest joy I get out of P2P is seeing you all learn how to create impact and influence and income, but do it with integrity. Like, do it in a way that feels right for you. Because
Mhm.
we're not going to all come out of P2P cookie cutter doing the exact same thing, looking the same. No, everyone has a different call on their
Right.
life. Like, everyone has a different message that they're supposed to share, and different, different ways of being that can be used to help
Mhm.
other people see the light and
Yes.
find their way. And I am so grateful. I know it sounded in the beginning like you prayed 93 times. I know you prayed 99 times, but I am so glad that you were led to this community because you've been such a bright light. And it was so exciting to see you posting like, and another one, and I got two more people registered, and you were like so pumped, and it was really exciting to root for you. And of course, I'm always rooting for you all, and I'm so excited for you and everything that God has coming, because this is just the beginning.
Yes, just
Like
the
this is
beginning.
literally just the beginning, and you're already unapologetically
Yes.
putting yourself out there. So, how can people connect with you? Where do you want folks to find you?
I'm on Instagram, so it's Chebria.b. I'm also trying to get over to TikTok because I was starting to think I actually like TikTok better, a little better than Instagram.
Really?
Yes, that was also one of my wins though. During P2P, I posted one of my videos that I had found the courage during P2P to post, and it got a lot of views. My first time ever posting a video. So
Hmm.
I'm Chebria.b on there as well. And I also have a website, chebriab.com. And
Shabria
also
B.
sell merchandise and everything now. So mugs,
Do you?
cups.
You didn't added
Yes.
a little something to your mix.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll make sure we link to everything in the show notes. So before I let you go, let's say there's someone right now who is in the Creative for Purpose challenge, or they're just, they stumbled upon the podcast and they're for the first time hearing about purpose to platform and considering it. And they're on their 95th prayer, just like you were doing all the praying. What words of encouragement would you offer them at this moment?
Surrender. Surrender to God, even if 95 prayers in, but allow God to lead you because He's not going to steer you wrong. And I promise you, if He leads you to the purpose to platform, is literally going to be a life changing moment for you. And don't let money scare you because that's small to God. If He calls you to it, He going to bring you through it. And that would be my advice.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for being here.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate you.
No problem. No problem. Such an honor.
I'm honored. It's a full circle moment for both of us.
Yes.
It's really cool to be able to hear your stories and share them with the world. So good for
Yes.
you. Okay, so I hope that you enjoyed Shabria's interview. I am so incredibly proud of her. She talked a little bit about the challenge. We kind of cheated by telling you that was coming up. If you are actually going to join me for this next round of P2P, yes, you will be challenged to go create some money. Take what you are using, what you're learning in P2P, and actually use it in the marketplace, because I do believe the safest time for you to do that is when you are surrounded by the love and support of our community. I want you to make sure that you tune in tomorrow, because our P2P sister tomorrow, Amy, was actually a part of that conversation that really created breakthrough for Shabria. And I want you to hear it from her perspective as a non Black woman in this community. Oh my gosh, it is going to be so good. Listen, again, if you have not signed up for the Creative for Purpose Challenge, what are you waiting for? Come on over. Thepurposechallenge.com is where you can sign up. And if you hear this months from now, I got a little surprise for you at thepurposechallenge.com. So you won't miss out. You can still get access to some of the great nuggets that happen in the challenge. So whenever you hear this, it will be applicable. Come on over. Now, that's it for me today. I'll be back tomorrow with another beautiful story from another beautiful woman from purpose to platform. Until then, I want you to go live your life's purpose, find fulfillment, and earn more without ever chasing money. Talk to you later.